This could be very ominous. This could be fast spreading. This could be a pandemic around the world, and we should take it more seriously. And as our reporting showed, the president and others downplayed that in the early days. Separately, you're seeing in places like New York and places across the country where there are very few medical supplies right now. When you have a coronavirus task force at the White House has been meeting every day, and they're trying to figure out right now how to get more supplies to these different states and what to do. There's not a lot of answers, and there's kind of scant resources and a burgeoning number of people who need them and need the help. So on a lot of fronts, you have really difficult problems that the federal government's now trying to solve. And in some ways, folks are saying they could have been more prepared if they would have been thinking about this months or years ago. But it's easy to second guess, and it's easy to have 2020 and sure. There's some of the president's allies who will say he's in it with dozens of crises and dozens of problems every day, and he has to kind of manage and triage. But as we reported last night, at least half of some of the intel briefings that were coming to the White House were about this, and folks were kind of sounding the alarm that this really needed to be taken seriously.
Governor Pawlenty, like I said, we're going to be talking more about state responses later in the show. But as a former governor who would have been relying on the federal government and the president at this time, I want you to tell me what you think Trump has gotten right. What has worked from a governor's vantage point?
Well, first of all, he's had, I think, good communications with the governors. I think he's also closed the border with China. He cites that regularly as one of his bold strikes, and I think that was helpful. I do want to say this, S.E. In 2009, then Arizona Governor Janet Napolitano and I co-chaired a national task force to help get the country ready for the H1N1 virus, otherwise known as the bird flu. And I can tell you, at over a decade ago, most of the gaps that are now causing us a problem were identified as we ramped up for that virus, and they were never addressed by any administration to the level that they needed to be, either party.
Yeah, I think in the coming weeks, months, years, we're going to look back at some mistakes and some things that we missed, and hopefully learn from some of those mistakes. Josh, obviously, when we saw the president's attacks on the press this week, I'm sure, like I did, you reacted viscerally to those attacks. He did it multiple times in multiple different ways. Today, he also attacked your paper, The Washington Post, for a report you co-wrote. Take a listen.
I think The Washington Post covers us very inaccurately, covers me very inaccurately. I saw the story. I think it's a disgrace, but it's The Washington Post, and I guess we have to live with it. It's a very inaccurate, quiet. It's a very inaccurate story.
Hello.
It's so insulting when they write phony stories that they know are fake news, because they're not insulting. They're insulting everybody.
Hello, Gigi.
I just want your response, Josh.
We stand by our reporting. The president obviously has a right to his opinion, and he gave it. But if you notice there were no specifics, facts, nothing that he questioned in particular about our story. He regularly criticizes the coverage of him. He said today, he said earlier this week that the Post and the Times and the Wall Street Journal, a number of the television outlets are very unfair to him, and he clearly believes that. But we stand by the reporting that we did in the story. We talked to multiple officials in the government on Capitol Hill, across the country, and the president again has a right to his opinion. But as I said, there was nothing particular that he pointed out that was false or erroneous.
Governor, but quickly, for all the attacks on the establishment and the expert class over the past decade or two, having experience and experts and people who know what they're doing in positions of power seems like a really good idea right now. Do you think that there will be a backlash to the anti-establishment impulses on the left and the right after this, and that will prize experience and expertise more than, say, populist cults of personality?
Well, if this goes poorly and the U.S. performs poorly relative to other nations, there's going to be a severe reaction, I think, to all of this and what led up to it for obvious reasons. And one thing that would come out of that, and I sure hope we don't have the worst case. But if you look at somebody like Dr. Fauci, for example, I sure hope and I believe the American people will appreciate facts, science, credible display and distribution of information. You can't make good decisions without good information. And anybody who tries to do it is, running a very high-risk gamble.
Governor Josh, thank you both so much for being here tonight. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
You bet.
Okay, over 80 million Americans, 1 in 5 of us, have been ordered to stay at home. California led that charge. I'll speak to a lawmaker and then a doctor about the necessity of that order.
I recently spoke to a group of students about being a scientist at 3M. I wanted them to know that innovation is not just about that one aha moment. Science is a process. It takes time, dedication. It's a journey. We're constantly asking ourselves, how can we do things better and better? What we make has to work. We strive to protect you. At 3M, we're in pursuit of solutions that make people's lives better.
Not even our competitor's best battery can match the power of Energizer, because Energizer Ultimate Lithium is the longest-lasting AA battery in the world. Energizer, backed by science, matched by no one.
Ever been on a family vacation where everyone says, wow, where the beaches are flawless and the waves are perfect, where every ride comes with a smile?
Yeah, all about a good time. Yeah, all about a good life.
And every dinner becomes a show, all in a place where memories last forever and families become family again. Beaches, Turks, and Caicos. Anything is possible when everything's included. Wow. Call 1-800-BEACHES.
Good time.
Did you know that every single flush flings odors onto your soft surfaces? Then they get released back into the air, so you smell them later. Ew, right? That's why Febreze created Small Spaces. Press firmly and watch it get to work. Unlike the leading company, Small Spaces continuously eliminates odors in the air and on surfaces, so they don't come back for 45 days. Now that's one flush and fresh bathroom.
Walking into a clothing store is a completely different experience for me now.
It's amazing. I'm learning how the brain works, but not just any brain, but my brain.
It's funny how much smarter I feel like New has made me. It's the simple things, but they hit that.
This is not just some temporary kind of fix. It's psychology.
If you change up here, everything Visit Noom.com and change your life. Good.
The network has to be prepared to absorb whatever is come its way.
We're always preparing.
Make sure that the network is working all the time.
We are constantly looking at it. We're constantly monitoring. Take that responsibility very seriously.
The most rewarding thing about the work we do is whenever
An explosion of mandarin and ginger lily. Excitement to your cleaning routine with Lysol wipes. The smell of clean reimagined in 3 energizing scents. Lysol, what it takes to protect.
Think you need to buy expensive skincare products to see dramatic results? Try Olay Skincare. Just 1 jar of microsculpting cream has the hydrating power of 5 jars of a prestige cream, which helps plump skin cells and visibly smooth wrinkles, while new Olay Retinol 24 provides visibly smoother, brighter skin. For dramatic skincare results, try Olay, and now receive 25% off your purchase at Olay.com. Brand power helping you buy better.
Closed captioning brought to you by Zulily. Find the joy of shopping. You deserve it. Get the Zulily app today.
Quirky finds to uncover, home decor to discover, fashion trends to explore, so much to adore. Shop Zulily today.
Over 80 million Americans have been given clear orders. Stay home. The governors of 5 states, California, New York, Illinois, New Jersey, and Connecticut, have directed residents to stay put and not venture out for anything other than essentials: food, prescriptions, health care, or a job that's critical. Maybe to walk your dog or take a mental health stroll. California's Gavin Newsom, the governor of the nation's most populous state, was the first to issue this directive.
We direct a statewide order for people to stay at home. That directive goes into force and effect this evening. And we are confident that the people of the state of California will abide by it.
So what do these shutdowns mean for residents of these states? And is your state next? Here to discuss is Congresswoman Karen Bass of California. Congresswoman, thank you so much for being here. Your state was the first to take this extraordinary step. Do you think it was a necessary one?
Oh, yes, I absolutely think it was a necessary one. And I do believe that people are abiding by it. You know, LA, there's always traffic, no matter what hour, and people are not on the streets. I think it's a very positive sign that people are cooperating.
Well, and yeah, the immediate necessity of this is clear, I think, to most of us. But in terms of the long term, are you thinking about the economic impact this will have on your state when businesses are shuttered and people are out of work? And how are you balancing the necessity of now with the concerns of the long term?
Well, you are absolutely right. I mean, one of the biggest concerns is we don't exactly know how long this will last. So that creates a tremendous amount of anxiety. But I can tell you that on the stimulus package that we're working on in Washington, D.C., we are looking at especially workers who are often forgotten. So when we close restaurants, we have the waitresses, we have the janitors, all of the people who are on the lower income side, we are very concerned about. It'll be great if checks are given, but after you've spent your check, if you've been laid off your job, it's not really helpful. So we have to make sure we beef up unemployment insurance.
Yeah, and we're going to talk later in the show with an economist about how that money should best be spent to help us all out. Some municipalities are adjusting their approaches to law enforcement. Philadelphia, for example, police are stopping low-level arrests. In Maine and New York City and California, as you know, some prisons have released prisoners to protect against virus spread inside those, confined spaces. To Americans who might be concerned about that and the impact on their safety, what do you say?
Well, first of all, I think that, and we have submitted this, I think that there should be testing in prisons and jails, because you can imagine if there's an outbreak there, that has a huge impact. And then people do get out regardless of the crisis right now. And so we need to make sure that people are taken care of inside while they're in custody. Now, having said that, in Los Angeles, we are doing the same thing. The police aren't giving minor tickets, so people would run up fines, but also people are not being arrested as often. People are being released. I think we need to look at our criminal justice system. Pregnant women, for example, I believe should be released. Juveniles should be released unless they, have committed a violent crime. So these are some of the proposals that we actually are putting in. I know on behalf of the Congressional Black Caucus, some of these things are proposals that we want to see in the next stimulus package.
I want to read a quote from a doctor in the Bay Area about the lack of supplies for medical professionals and first responders. When I came across it, it really hit me hard. She says, "This is a crime, and there are people directly responsible for it. Blood will be on the hands of those who have sent healthcare workers to a war without armor, to fight battles brandishing pool noodles instead of swords." I know you were, Congresswoman, a physician's assistant and a clinical instructor at USC's School of Medicine. I know doctors. I know doctors in the Bay Area. What do you make of this doctor's frustration?
Well, it hits me hard, especially having worked in a county hospital where our supplies were often very low. I feel her pain as having been a healthcare worker in the middle of the AIDS crisis when we really didn't understand where the virus was coming from or how it was being transmitted. So I know the fear that these healthcare workers must have, and I absolutely agree with her. It is a crime. It's unconscionable that we were not prepared when we knew that this was on the horizon. And unfortunately, the administration didn't take it seriously and still does not seem to be going full force. I think we should mobilize the National Guard, the military. I remember what happened during the Ebola crisis when President Obama mobilized the entire world, and he was able to really stop the crisis. They had anticipated 1 million people would die. Now, one death is too many, but it was 11,000, not 1 million. But it's because the world was mobilized. And that's what I think should have been done here.
Congresswoman, thanks so much for your time. Stay safe.
Thank you.
I'm going to continue this conversation with a medical professional. That's next.
Do you recall not long ago we would walk on the sidewalk? All around the wind blows, we would only hold on to let go. Blow a kiss into the sun, we need someone to lean on. Blow a kiss into the sun, all we need is somebody to lean on. All we
I'm a social media coordinator and part-time consultant. And because I don't have the time to go to business school, I subscribe to the Great Courses Plus. With my subscription, I can build skills in marketing research. All of this happens while I'm on the go.
I get excited to dive into history topics and share with others. Each day I learn a little more with the Great Courses Plus. These world-class professors are passionate about the subjects, and they keep me engaged every time.
Join Amanda, Wayne, and thousands of other learners today. Sign up for a free trial.
There's never been a better time to have a favorite food. With new Grubhub Plus, you get unlimited free delivery and cashback rewards for ordering noodles. And noodles. And noodles. And noodles. Grubhub Plus, free delivery, cashback, and noodles.
Want to brain better? Unlike ordinary memory supplements, Nariva has clinically proven ingredients that fuel 5 indicators of brain performance: memory, focus, accuracy, learning, and concentration. Try Nariva for 30 days and see the difference.
Indeed's hiring tools, like skills tests, let a person show you they're the right candidate. We also give you a groundhog to point out your perfect hire.
You got the job.
Okay, no groundhog, but try skills tests free at Indeed.com/groundhog.
This is the greatest sock never sold. Every time you buy a pair of comfy Bombas socks, we give this pair to someone in need. And thanks to you, we just donated 30 million of them. Give a pair when you buy a pair and get 20% off your first order.
Hi, I'm Bob Harper, and I recently had a heart attack. It changed my life, but I'm a survivor. After my heart attack, my doctor prescribed Brilinta. It's for people who have been hospitalized for a heart attack.
Brilinta is taken with a low-dose aspirin, no more than 100 milligrams, as it affects how well Brilinta works. Brilinta helps keep platelets from sticking together and forming a clot. In a clinical study, Brilinta worked better than platelets.
Brilinta the chance of having another heart attack or dying from one.
Don't stop taking Brilinta without talking to your doctor, since stopping it too soon increases your risk of clots in your stent, attack, stroke, and death. Brilinta may cause bruising or bleeding more easily, or serious, sometimes fatal bleeding. Don't take Brilinta if you have bleeding, like stomach ulcers, a history of bleeding in the brain, or severe liver problems. Slow heart rhythm has been reported. Tell your doctor about bleeding. For unexpected shortness of breath, any planned surgery, and all medicines you take.
If you recently had a heart attack, ask your doctor if Brilinta is right for you. My heart is worth Brilinta.
If you can't afford your medication, AstraZeneca may be able to help.
Hey, you, nice smartphone. You should switch it to the new TracFone Wireless to get more control over your wireless plan. They give you unlimited carryover data. You pay for your data, you keep your data. Really? Yeah, you just swap your SIM card. You can also keep your phone, keep your number, keep your network, $20 a month, no contract. Oh, but that case.
Temporary. It's my daughter's old case.
Okay, you know, you. Oh. This is your wake-up call, people. The new TracFone Wireless. Now you're in control.
My money's work as hard as I do, so I use my unlimited card to buy all the latest tech stuff.
Understand the extent to which we are in trouble is Dan's blog, Harvard to the Big House. And so, from here home, I'm going to tell the story of that and try to give you an idea